good evening, and welcome to Too Soon to Tell Tuesday. It's been too long. How's everybody doing? Hope you're having a wonderful evening. Beautiful day here in the Hudson Valley today. Almost 70 degrees, 68 I saw on my thermometer this afternoon. Hope everybody's doing well. You guys ready to get it going? Hit it, Livingston, man. Boom. Welcome back to Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival, everybody. CUCV Farmer, Teresa Buchanan, Loretta Hooch, KK, Katrinka LOL, The Watchman. Who else we got here? Hunter and 25, Scott Hummer, Southern Tier Prepper, good to see you. Gypsy, good to see you. Johnny 308, what's good? Rob B, good to see you. Gick Rhymes, what's going on? Moon Sprouts, good to see you, sister. Hope everybody's doing well. Vision Preparedness in the house. I did not get to check your live stream. I was in transit, and we were going over some things before the stream tonight.
It's transitioning.
Yeah, I was transitioning from place to place. You know, Ronnie Braun, good to see you, brother. Kane Corso, good to see you. Devil Dog Prepper in the house. Teresa Buchanan, what's up?
Hi,
KP.
Teresa.
KP Heath. So odd night. No horseman tonight. You know, the roaming prepper. War is a busy man, as we know. He's not only actual war, he's also trade war. So he's busy as shit right now.
A lot going on.
He's busy as shit right now.
The armed conflict department.
And I start the day with the news that Trump is going to double down on tariffs, 50% on aluminum and steel coming across the border from Canada, right? And lo and behold, a couple minutes later, everybody wants to talk, and they're going to work things out, and everything's on hold now. So we can all breathe a sigh of relief for the moment. Canada's not going to cut the power off to New York City or Michigan or any other place at the moment.
Wish they would. Do it.
Please. Rob B says, my tinfoil hat just gained value. Indeed. Phil R., good to see you, brother. Hope all is well. Yardbirds, what's good? 6-pack deep and tall, boys. Get ready for the fireworks.
And define 6-pack. I mean, 6-pack by standard beers, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm really only, let's see, this would be, I think, 3. 12
We're
ounce.
good. We're
only got
good.
36 ounces.
Betty
in me.
Lou,
I can
good
do
to see
so
you.
much better.
Casey Little Owl in the house. What's up?
Always good to see Yardbirds. He's actually my
Michigan
favorite. We
Outpost.
might josh each other a little bit, but
Yeah, you got to have a good time, man. Hey,
I'm here for it.
All's
and
fun.
he is. And,
All's fun.
we're both here for it.
XNYC, what's good? So, we got
Probably
through.
wondering.
We got through the trade war, right?
Well,
we got through the trade war, but we got some other things that we need to discuss here this evening. And I think this topic, when I saw the article, Livingston Man, one, I took it literally, and two, I took it figuratively, because it does have to deal with preparedness, because so many people are planning on bugging in that this article is going to be extremely relevant to your bugging in situation, okay?
I thought the same when I perused it. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
you know what? Because there's a bug in movement afoot these days.
Yeah.
We went from bugging out, we all gonna hit the streets like refugees to actually, I ain't doing that. I'm staying home, bro. You kidding me?
Grace, good to see you.
Sheds some light on exactly what we might expect from that mindset.
Yeah. I mean, it's,
It's bound to take its toll on you. And just right off the cuff, I'm going to be honest. I copy and pasted the headline into the thing. We're all going to read it together, but I didn't read it. I took the headline at face value and didn't read the article.
Okay. I did read a good portion of the article.
If you see where is it? Right.
Oh, yeah, there he is. Yeah, he's a certified homebody.
Right. So I was like, I didn't want to feel specifically attacked.
Oh no! This is not an attack on anyone at all. But this is rather a study that was conducted.
I was interested to note to learn exactly what exactly was to be learned here. Talk in circles some more.
You guys ready to get into this article?
Let's check it out. What had happened?
Here we are. Studyfinds.org. Livingston Man, could you drop the link for this in the chat? I believe so.
Nope, that ain't it.
No. I don't know why it does that. That's interesting. I you know what? I got you. No worries.
Mike's going to drop the link in the chat. So America study finds America is becoming a nation of homebodies, and this is research was led by Brian D. Taylor and Sam Speroni of the University of California, Los Angeles, and Eric Morris, Clemson University.
Got you.
In his February 2025 cover story for The Atlantic, journalist Derek Thompson dubbed our current era the antisocial century. He isn't wrong.
No, I don't think so.
According to our recent research, the U.S. is becoming a nation of homebodies.
All right. Using data from the American Time Use Survey, we studied how people in the U.S. spent their time before, during, and after the pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic did spur more Americans to stay home, but this trend didn't start or end with the pandemic. We found out that Americans were already spending more time at home and less time engaged in activities away from home, stretching all the way back to at least 2003. And if you thought the end of lockdowns and the spread of vaccines led to a revival, partying and playing sports and dining out, you'd be mistaken. The pandemic, it turns out, mostly accelerated ongoing trends. All of this has major implications for traffic, public transit, real estate, the workplace, socializing, and mental health.
Pardon. The trend of staying home is, of course, not new. There was a steady decline in out-of-home activities in the 2 decades leading up to the P word. Compared with 2003, Americans in 2019 spent nearly 30 minutes less per day on out-of-home activities and 8 fewer minutes a day traveling. It's because we was driving faster, bro. But there could be any number of reasons for the shift, but advances in technology, whether smartphones, streaming services, or social media, are likely culprits. You can video chat with a friend rather than meeting them for coffee, order groceries through an app instead of venturing to the supermarket, schlepping on down to the Hannaford, and stream a movie instead of going to see it in the theater. And
absolutely.
All of this, and I don't know if you guys have been out in publicly. Let's go back to ACAM. We don't want to bore them with this too much. We'll come back. But, all right, going out anymore. Like,
oh, man.
Okay, me as a person right here. Okay, see this in a bar. This is 2 beers. This is $10.
Yep,
I can easily drink 6 of these.
Eric M1RV. Hello, Abby. Good to see you, sister.
And
Hope
so
all is well.
I'm faced with buying a $10 12-pack up at the Walmart. Okay. Come home and mind my own business, not catch a DWI, not catch an assault charge, not get thrown out the bar by my ass.
Right on, old
for
nut.
$10, or risk all that for $60. And let's not start with the food. Let's go to the local up and coming. What do they call these things? Gastro pubs. Let's go there. Let me get that $35 hamburger with no sides, and it only comes with half a bun, and it's gluten free.
That's right.
I'm sitting on a plastic stool with like fucking market lights. You know what I'm talking about, right? They got the bare bulbs hanging on. People charging me $30 for a hamburger. I'm a chef. So's the dude that works at Alltown, and that's a gas station, bro. So yeah, going out sucks ass. And I got another real zinger for you as to, making the case for staying home. At the end of the month, I'm a renter, but none of my utilities are included.
Okay.
So say I got to fill the fuel oil, say I got to pay the electric bill, pay the cable, and do the cell phones, $1,200.
Yeah, man.
So I've paid $1,200 to invest in this domicile. I'm going to fucking stay there. And let's not forget that, also, all
Crochet
my
Gems,
stuff is there too. And you start to realize that it's just easier and more fun and safer bet to stay home.
Well, I see that you're totally not wrong, that it costs an absolute fortune just to own a home or rent a home and fill it with all your stuff and pay all your utilities. Outside costs a lot of money, Livingston, man. If you walk away from the house, the further you go, the more expensive it gets.
Like I'm spending $30 for some whatever. I just have to.
Yeah, yeah, because that's just the way it goes. A 50 is the new 20, and 100 is the new 50. That's inflation, folks. Fair. That's inflation. Every time I leave the house, I'm spending $50. Crocheted gems, absolutely. It's expensive. God forbid you got to put gas in the car. Forget it.
125. I actually like this idea. We'll get like a Discord server going, and we'll all bug in and then just join the video chat and just be there.
Yeah.
All right, yo, one in the chat
Yeah, bug out weekends are going to be
Bug-in
bug-in
weekends, man. Yo, we're gonna FaceTime.
We'll all
like
do
we're-
it together. We'll go to the main breaker and we'll throw the main breaker, right?
I'm not even doing. I'm not doing
Lights
that.
out, grid down. Now we're fucking stuck here.
We just all like hang out. Well, if I do that, I can't like FaceTime.
So Google censorship, you know who's benefiting from inflation are big businesses, the big corporations, the mega corps. Rescue, good to see you, brother. Hope all is well. They're benefiting big times. The billionaires are making money hand over fist off of people.
But is the money? Okay, this is an interesting question because isn't the money they're making worth just as like fuck all as the money we are?
Correct.
But they just got so much more.
Well, they have, inflation, they're making more faster now, right? Because everything costs more.
Well, they can just make it.
Those numbers go up. Exactly. Donald H. Huth, yes, I did hear about the cyber attacks on Twitter yesterday. They hit a couple other things pretty hard, too. Definitely something coordinated and not going.
False flag.
Oh, Phil R., the top chat got you again. Yeah, guys, make sure you're in live chat or all chat. That way you don't miss other people's comments when they're saying hello to you. We're going to see your comments no matter what, but not everybody else will necessarily. So make sure you're in the all chat. When you first come into a stream, typically it puts you in top chat, and it just wants to give you the highlights, especially when you have a few folks here who are chatting tonight. It really only wants to show you the highlights, So you have to hit all chat, make sure you can get everything. Livingston Man just mumbled, false flag. I couldn't agree more.
I did, because Elon just looking for some kind of shield. Like, oh, look, now he's going to play the victim. Oh, look, they after me. I'm being persecuted. Elon Musk be being shadow banned. My ass, dude.
So I know.
Don't attack my platform.
That from experience and history has shown us that when these things happen, what we tend to end up with is more regulation and more restraint, right? Less rights and more laws. Because that's what we need.
Laws solve everything. I don't know if you guys what rock you've been living under, but
I know people just like, once they do them, the people just like, oh man, I just can't do that anymore.
Dog, they passed a law where I turn this in at. I've seen it happen. Cartels be laying down their arms like shit.
Yeah. Oh,
man.
no, they passed the law.
Oh, dog, they passed a law.
Oh, no. Now it's over. They passed the law.
Guess we're going to have to evolve our business model.
Yep.
Said every criminal enterprise
That's
ever.
right, Johnny 3806. Regulation is a funny thing. It requires you to comply for it to work properly.
And who has to comply? Whose business gets audited 1099? We want to check you out. OSHA showing up. Want to see what you guys doing. You, not the
them.
proverbial
Yeah.
them. All right. And it's just how it goes because, we like to think that we live in some sort of post-corruption era, but I actually think we live in like the peak corruption era.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we did digress a bit from the topic of conversation and this whole
we got on to why you might,
in.
because this is the attitude of the average American anymore. It's like, I'm not going out.
Yeah.
I'm not feeding this
true.
horse shit.
Not doing it.
But all right, I'm always here to play devil's advocate, but I am definitely here on the side of the homebodies. I straight up am one.
Yeah.
I'm not, and it's not personal. It's not, and I don't mean to ever come off as disrespectful, or whatever. Because even in social, time, the roaring 20s like we're in now, everybody's having a grand old time. I'm not, with no offense and no disrespect, I'm not coming to your house. If anything, my house is the one people come to. Like I'm all for hanging out. You want to come over or something?
Sure.
I'm not leaving, going to your house. Just not my thing. Anyway, so the whole bugging out thing was always a bit of a stressor for me.
Right.
Because I'm forced to leave the house. And
Yeah,
done it of my own accord rather than having to do it.
That's super stressful, man.
And you go live amongst the prepper people, and you're forced to be part of something that you wouldn't really see yourself doing.
Well, I don't think anybody really wants that.
Right. And so what I mean by this is given the chance to try this once or twice or whenever you want to is do it, because if you can do something because you can now because you want to is much better than being kicked right through the door because you really don't want to and aren't ready. I love y'all. I'll come out when I have to, but until then, I'm not. I'll be here. You can come on through. But I got to temper that with, I've always told you do not come to my house. Vision Preparedness, if he's here, will tell you why you should not come to my house.
Very true. Very, very true. Southern Tier Prepper says, oh, come on, L man, you got to come to our party this year. See, Livingston Man is down to party. That much is true. But when it comes to inviting him out to your social events or your meet and greets,
yeah, because it's not fair. Because what ends up happening gets blamed on me. And I'm right here, like in court with this video. Like, I don't really like to leave my house. Like
TT1, man. Yeah, we were just discussing that all of our stuff's at home, and we do pay a fortune to live in our homes. And I understand why people want to recluse into the nice things that they've bought and the den that they've built. Livingston, man.
They can now bring you food from your favorite restaurant.
Yeah. Could you bring the article back up for a second? I'll continue reading. Let's see.
Let's see.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Right there, where we're at. Of course, there was a sharp decline of out-of-home activities during the pandemic, which dramatically accelerated many of these stay-at-home trends. Outside of travel, time spent out-of-home activities fell by over an hour per day on the average, from 332 minutes in 2019 to 271 minutes in 2022. Travel, excluding air travel, fell from 69 to 54 minutes per day over the same time period. Very interesting. It says, but even after the pandemic lockdowns were lifted, out-of-home activities and travel through 2023 remained substantially depressed, far below the 2019 levels.
I feel that.
There was a dramatic increase in remote work, online shopping, time spent using digital entertainment such as streaming and gaming, and even time spent sleeping. Time spent outside of the home has rebounded since the pandemic, but only slightly. And there was hardly any recovery from the out-of-home activities from 2022 to 2023, meaning 2023 out-of-home activities like travel will still far below the 2019 levels. On the whole, Americans are spending nearly 1.5 hours less outside their homes in 2023 than they did in 2003.
Wow.
While hours
1.5 hours.
While hours worked from home in 2022 were less than half of what they were in 2021, they're still about 5 times what they were ahead of the pandemic. Despite this, only about a quarter of the overall travel time reduction is due to less commuting. The rest reflects other kinds of travels for activities such as shopping and socializing. Very interesting.
Now, apparently there are some ripple effects, and this shift has already had consequences, with Americans spending more time working, playing, and shopping from home. Demand for office and retail space has fallen. There's no need for brick and mortar storefronts, is what this means, because you can just order everything from a warehouse, and the person brings it to the door, and you're like, leave it on a doorstep and get the hell out of here.
Yep.
And they're like, thank you. While there have been some calls by major employers for workers to spend more time in the office, I'll tell you why that is. Research suggests that working from home in the U.S. held steady between 2023 and early 2025 at about 25% of paid workdays. As a result, surplus office space may need to be repurposed as housing and for other uses, and that's where I was going to go with that.
Yeah.
These big block employers that have giant office space in these, corporations and whatnot, where they got their cubicles and the corporate, they're paying money to rent this.
Oh, absolutely.
And
absolutely. They're losing a fortune, an absolute fortune renting this space.
And and God forbid we, repurpose it as, housing or other uses, because anything but that.
Well,
we know people in the street down there, maybe they ought to apply and get a job so they can work from home. Where's that? The fucking subway?
Yeah.
There are advantages to working and playing at home, however, such as avoiding travel stress and expenses.
Yep. But it also has boosted demand for extra space in apartments and houses as people spend more time under their own roof. It has changed travel during the traditional morning and especially afternoon peak periods, spreading traffic more evenly throughout the day, but contributing to significant public transit ridership losses. Meanwhile, more package and food delivery drivers are competing with parked cars and bus and bike lanes for curb space. Perhaps most importantly, spending less time out and about in the world has sobering implications for Americans well beyond real estate and transportation systems. Research we're currently conducting suggests that more time spent at home has dovetailed with more time spent alone. Suffice to say, this makes loneliness, which stems from lack of meaningful connections, a more common occurrence. Loneliness and social isolation are associated with increased risk for early mortality.
It's a real euphemistic way of saying you need to go make some friends before you opt out.
Because hunkering down appears to be the new norm, we think it's all the more important for policymakers and everyday people to find ways to cultivate connections and community in the shrinking time they do spend outside of the home. I think that article was absolutely fantastic, and I think it lends to preparedness in a way where if you're bugging in, you need to remember to get out. You don't want to lock yourself in your bunker and then go stir crazy in there and be the guy who has everything, but lost his mind, locked in the bunker because, well...
You've seen Polar Eclipse, right?
Yeah.
You ever seen paper?
Never seen a paper. Johnny says, I've been alone 13 years and just fine. Right. Some people can handle it, Johnny. And I think the majority of people, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think people are mentally and emotionally way too fragile nowadays compared to, you know, say our grandparents, right? They were the hard men.
Were they?
Well,
closet drinkers, wife beaters.
Well, they had to fight off the Nazis, so
it's okay.
Well, I'm not justifying it, but I am saying that they
those
did have
men,
to fight off the Nazis.
Those people brought home trauma. It's that they weren't allowed to show it.
True.
You were weak if you did. Shell shock, what we now know as PTSD, was like derided. It was looked down upon as weakness.
Of course. It's not.
No,
it's not. It's just your brain's way.
Two sides of it. It's really two sides of the same coin here. Is that some people can handle it and swallow it down or whatever, but I don't know. It depends on how you want to consider and how important you think
Howdy, Pilgrim.
Mental health is. Because maybe a person that's like, no, I'm perfectly cool with all that, like just hellscape carnage I walk through. I'm fine, bro. You got to be like, are you though? Are you good, bro?
Yeah.
Because, but at the same time, more sensitivity because we're exposed to more
Thank
and
you,
more.
coffee.
You know why we're more sensitive is because we're exposed, whether we actually want to be or not, is to the humanity of the other side. Used to be, them Japs and them Nazis, they dehumanized them. Those weren't people. That was the idea. Like, you can't have these guys feeling it.
Yeah.
So, but anymore, you're almost involuntarily presented with the humanity of your enemy. And whether you think it does or not, it's in there. And it will get you.
Tell you what, I'm going to drop a link to that article in the chat one more time, if it'll show me my chat here. Here you go. Oops. Paste. Done. Boom. Livingston Man, could you pin that one for me?
Well,
Thank you,
what we're
son.
talking about
is this particular article that is
click
in
this
the
link
pin section.
If I know my YouTube, it'll open this in another tab. You'll be able to still hear us talking, but check it out, breeze through. It's short.
Absolutely. Yeah. Not a very long article, but I think
heavy on the stats. Not real entertainment there, but it's just talking some truth.
Well, there's a whole lot of clickable links in that article. So if you want to go down the rabbit hole of statistics and everything, if that's your thing, man, that is the article for you. The Watchman says, no humanity in Syria. It's brother against brother tonight. Yeah, unfortunately, man. Unfortunately, war is the...
indiscriminate.
Like I said when we started, there's a reason why we ain't doing the Horseman tonight, because, Pete is a busy man. He's a busy man. Trade wars, drug wars, real wars. He does his thing. If war is in the name, he's there.
I'm just wearing my work clothes because I'm going to have to go clean up after him.
And, after the war and after you clean up, that's That's kind of when I do my thing, you know.
Well, famine and pestilence move through and just steal all our thunder. We built the fucking pyramids, and they just like act like they did. And it's fine.
Yeah,
like, look what
you
we
built
did.
the shrine in there too.
Actually, we were the cause of most of the civilian deaths in this conflict. I'm like,
Devil Dog Prepper, I 100% agree with that statement, man. War sucks. War is hell, and you don't ever want to be in it. You don't ever want to be in it. That's how much I know. I've learned that not from being there myself, but from people who have been there and come back and told me that very statement right there. War is hell. You don't want this. You don't ever want to see it. You don't ever want to be part of it. That's the consensus I get from people who have been to war. Anybody who comes and says, "Yeah, man, I need to go get me some more of that," go get them help.
Yeah, are you okay, bro? Like, it's it's all fun and games to like talk that, be that, but eventually, like everybody got to decompress.
Yardbird says, I talked to my friend in Poland. He said they aren't getting ready to fight Russia. We're too busy hating each other. Well, that's interesting, because there's a whole lot of smoke and mirrors going on, Livingston, man. And I think the propaganda is huge. What's going on in the world may be totally different than what's being portrayed to the American public, the Polish public, the German public, the French public, the Spanish public, the Italian public. I don't care who you are or where you're from, your government feeds you propaganda on a regular basis, right? And most that we know now, all of the mainstream media was funded by who, Livingston Man?
Me.
That's right. Us, me, you, him, all of us. We were funding the mainstream media.
I remember, and I'm not too old to remember.
Paying
maybe
for
some of you guys too.
Campaigns.
All right, really, like post 9/11. I'm gonna go with maybe like 3 weeks, a month after 9/11 happened. I watched this guy come on television. He's some big wig in the Pentagon, and he announced confidently, like, we're going to start a disinformation campaign so that we can mislead our enemies as to our actual goals and our actual thing here. And then, like a day and a half, 2 days later, I watched the same guy stand up and be like, actually, we're not going to do that. Come to find out, that's not a great idea, and we shouldn't like have a disinformation, department. And I was like, that's the disinformation right there. This entire thing.
It's a lie. It's a fabrication. It's a story.
September 11th, 2001 was the last day you might have ever had a chance of knowing the truth about just about anything.
That's heavy. It's true. It's heavy.
After that, and I don't care. This is like Shazam, one of those, what do they call this, the Mandela effect thing. I don't care what anybody thinks or says. I know I watched some sort of admiral, general person guy explain exactly that we was going to straight up lie and not tell the truth. And then he was like, actually, we're not going to do that. Like 2 days later. And I was like, weird. And
yeah. And the propaganda machine has been rolling ever since. And it still continues to this day until, even if they outlaw propaganda, that's just more propaganda. They're not going to fucking outlaw it. They've already given themselves the golden ticket. Why the fuck would you ever give it back? Right. Once
they take your rights, they don't give them back. You gotta have to come get them.
Yeah, and that ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen, man. It's
why we are homebodies. Well, again, like I said, you scare people to death. You make them genuinely fear and or hate the general public. Make everything super convenient. You start to wonder, is that the idea? Like, that movie WALL-E. You ever see that movie?
Yeah, where they drive you into your house and you stay there forever until the planet's crap.
They're in the levitating gamer chairs. They're all fat and stupid.
Yeah.
Not America.
Well, hey. Duke, you got it. Cattle. Bring on the cattle. These cattle make money, though. That's the problem.
This over-information, hyper-convenient society is pacifying us. It is making you...
Ooh, Gen X Gemini. Good point.
It's making you inactive. It's making you not care. It's making you rely on this. You know nothing because, it's all in here. I don't need to know that. If I need to ask it, I will.
I think it's making our memories shorter for sure, Livingston Man.
Americans have about, I used to say Americans have about a 2-week memory span. And
It's shorter.
That was back in 2016. I would guess now Americans have about a 2-day attention span.
Yeah.
Couple that if you're a high stress, you're a working person, you're paying your bills, you're struggling, going through it.
Yeah,
your
it's even
attention
shorter.
span, your memory is probably about 16 hours. I have to think about what I ate for dinner last night. I got to be like, what the hell even happened? It has nothing to do with the Pabst Blue Ribbon, Yardbirds. I have a photographic memory. It's just undeveloped.
Now, do you think? Let me see. I gotta think about how I'm gonna frame this. Do you think?
Say it.
No. Let's see. Moonsprout says it's very obvious when you don't watch TV for a long time and then tune in. It's wild. Moonsprouts, I could not agree more. So the comment that got me, Livingston Man, was that every Gen X Gemini said they elevated the prices of everything to keep everybody home, right? You can't afford to go out. You can't afford to do anything, right? So is that another one of the ploys to keep people indoors? We know that nature is good for you. It's good for your health. To be outside, to be in the sunshine, to be in the dirt, Livingston Man, that builds your immune system, makes you healthier to be in the dirt. You actually heal faster if you're outside more. Is this a tactic to keep people indoors more, keep them sick, keep them tired, keep them stressed, keep them on the phone, keep them, what's going on now? I was that guy today. I was him. I was, what's going on now? Is this a ploy to keep people indoor more?
Yeah. But here's why. Because when you get disaffected common folks together in the pub, a couple drinks in them.
Yeah, they start talking that wild shit, huh?
And the next thing you know, you got some next generation of founding fathers out here gonna fucking plot some sort of
insurgency, yeah,
and some changing of the guard kind of thing. Public demonstrations, public gatherings. That was one of the first things they clamped down on when they said y'all getting sick. You're not allowed to hang out no more.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. Yes, you can. Yeah, you can fire up StreamYard, get on Zoom, all 30 of you in there, and you can talk your shit. But we right here.
Oh yeah,
we right here listening. We hear you.
Listen, you guys, take a look. Take
you.
a look at the concurrent viewers here. We are down to 55 people now, right?
Because they got mad.
Well, back in the day, Livingston Man,
Your subscribers are weak-willed people.
Well,
who can't handle the truth.
Early Hudson Valley prepping and survival, we would get 75, 85, 95. We had over 100 people in the live streams year and a half ago. Now that we have almost double the subscribers, how do we have so many less people that see our videos every day?
I kind of know a little bit of the answer to this too, is that there's a bit of a very complacent.
You think the election had something to do with it?
I do. Okay. I think a lot of people think that like everything's a little okay now. That we're not so in a bad way here. But when some
Amen, the Watchman.
When some loud headline comes out, like Ebola, or oh my God, like you'll see an uptick in people giving a shit about.
Yeah, time to take a look.
Prepping, survival, this sort of thing. But in that interim, which is the thing they wish to keep perpetual, they want to keep a perpetual interim. Everything's okay.
Appreciate you, X.
But I think that's why. I think that a lot of people think that like everything's okay. Like strong men have created good times. I can pack the tent away. I don't need the freeze dried food. Like, everything's going to be all right. America's going to be great again.
Well, I did see a huge influx of people selling stuff like that directly after the election. The Facebook Marketplace, if you wanted to pick up used prepping gear or used survival gear, freeze dried food, Facebook Marketplace was the place. Especially if you know what you're looking at, you know what you're doing. You could have saved an absolute fortune and been so geared up, it's not even funny. Honestly, I couldn't believe the amount of it that was for sale, bro. Everything.
You kind of catch a windfall on that kind of thing. If you're the type to be opportunistic, now would be the time to hit up Marketplace and hit up people. Listen, you want to be complacent and silly as if like a catastrophic weather event can't happen because of who's president. They're wrong, and you should mock them, and they deserve it. If you watched my How to Do a Troll video, you would know where we're coming from.
How to troll.
And sometimes, and it's not only that, it's the art of the deal. You want to be silly, like you're gonna do it like that. All right, I'm here for it. Cool. There are certain things you shouldn't gamble with, and that'd be your preps. As long as they're not expired, hold that stuff down. That's your only insurance policy. Insurance, okay, actual insurance. Ask anybody that's ever been through a natural disaster, whether it's the North Carolina hurricane, the LA wildfires.
It's going to take a long time for that check to come, I'll tell you what.
Right, and in the meantime, where are you living on the street with no tent because you sold it on Marketplace because Trump's president? Be smart.
Gen X Gemini says, got to watch Marketplace. People getting mugged. I always highly recommend if you're going to buy something off a Marketplace, you travel in packs. You bring friends with you. Be honest and upstanding. Always check their history, their sales history.
I just lowball them.
Well, if it's the first time that anybody's selling anything, that's a red flag. If they, people who typically sell things on Marketplace are repetitive sellers. So definitely do your research, do your due diligence, and do your thing, man. Do your thing. If you're a concealed carrier, yeah, Eric M1 RV, you know it, bro. Bring protection.
If you're selling something on Facebook Marketplace and you want to be sketchy about it, and then they bring me, as Ghost Lincoln said, you gonna be getting sold on Facebook Marketplace. Be accepting the bids. I'll be starting that bid at $100 for
good golly,
nice thigh meat. My stomach's growling.
TT1 says, do not let a president dictate how much you prepare. Amen, my brother. Preach it, preach it, preach it, preach it, preach it.
Now, again, I can point to a parallel. I remember when Hurricane Katrina happened and Bush caught a lot of hate for like the response to it.
Or the lack of.
What I felt was that people kind of thought that like he should have stood on the shore and been like, stop the fucking hurricane or something. Like, do not, as whoever said that, don't put your faith
TT1.
in that.
Yeah.
That's not a political statement. It's an apolitical statement. I'm just saying that has no bearing on when the SH has TF. Who wants to be president does not matter. All right.
Great advice in here from folks. If you're meeting somebody on Marketplace, daylight business, right on the Watchman. Eric N1 RV says, bring protection. Kane Corso, only meet in public places. Absolutely. Same
Arm
thing,
yourself
TT1.
to the teeth.
Count Trumpula says, no low ballers. I know what I got.
Nope. Dude, listen, I will sit there. I'll be like, I'll stay up drinking until like 2 a.m, just low balling motherfuckers. I'm just like, she'd be like, you coming to bed? Oh yeah, I gotta lowball this guy real quick. Hold on.
On the Verge, man, I've been there. On the Verge says, a few years ago, my food storage held me down while I was waiting on unemployment to kick in. Rice and beans with barbecue sauce gets old quick. Indeed, it does, man. I've been low enough that I've had to literally catch or kill my dinner to make sure I ate. The kids always had food, but I'd go to the stream and I fish until after dark, make sure I caught something to take home to eat.
I go to the stream. Vision's like, Vision's sending, I got a package inbound, 7 a.m. I go to the stream. You got to make connections, whatever you
Rip Curl Readiness, he says, here comes the cube housing complexes where everyone gets their box to stay in. That may be the case. And I got to be honest with you. I think if we could take some of this extra office space, Livingston, man, I think we could solve the homeless crisis here in the United States of America in a very short time with just that, just what you said, Rip Curl. basically fold and go housing. They sell these things on the internet now. You can like buy one from Home Depot for a couple grand, and you start putting walls like that up in, well, formerly commercial spaces. You know, these folks who are literally living on the streets, at least they have a warm place to sleep.
So
you could do it. You could do it.
My tax dollars paying for freeloaders to have free shit.
Hey, if they're Americans, I'm all for it.
It's different.
Well, you know, if it's not, you know, transgender studies in mice in Bolivia, we paid $65 million for that. But, you know, God forbid we give it to fucking Americans who are homeless.
So you got a drug addicted, alcohol addled person as myself going to sit there and live stream from my free apartment in New York City,
or just leave them on the streets to die,
some
right?
guy who came here from Nicaragua who wants to lay bricks and live the American dream.
But no, that's not what I'm talking about.
Not for him?
That's not what I'm talking about. If they came here to do that, I think the immigration system, one, it's fucked. It needs to be fixed by Congress, right? We need pathways to citizenship for the people who've been here, contributing to society for years. See, I don't think like your typical, you know, conservative or libertarian or anything like that. That's not really my style. I don't fit in the box. You know, they've been here for years, some cases decades, and have earned their right to be an American citizen.
I don't fucking think so whatsoever. Because you know why? You know why? Because I suffered, and because of that, everyone else should too. All right, this handout fucking mentality. I'm not going to get with this free housing for the poor.
Well, I didn't say free, but I did say housing.
How they paying it back through slavery, obviously, and that's the way it should be.
No, but I think with the right outreach programs and the right,
you want to go to college,
like Job Corps on steroids. You know what I'm saying?
You want to go to college, you better.
So
not
once upon a time, we
war.
went through this thing called the Great Depression, right? And there was so many fucking people out of work that the government literally had to create industry and businesses and just find shit for people to do. They went so deep into find shit for people to do. They got people to stack fucking rocks in the woods, right? They got people. We still have stone walls here in New York State today that were built by people during the Great Depression. All of your cool fucking hiking trails, all your cool little vistas, all your fucking lean-tos were built by those down-ass motherfuckers who didn't have a penny. But, you know, the CCC came through and gave them a job and said, hey, we can't pay you much, but we can give you a little bit, enough to make sure your family gets by. That's shitty work, but
you know, the worst president in history was responsible for that. Franklin Delano Roosevelt with his New Deal, depression busting, socialist bullshit, kept this country alive. And I hate him for it every day. He should have let it die, but instead, his disgusting democratic socialist policies made America the superpower it is today. And I hold that against him every day that I live. And I went to the FDR mansion. You know what I did? I took a shit.
You're wrong.
Not my America.
You're wrong.
What we should have done is put everybody even more in debt. I can't believe he didn't just enslave the entire nation. That's really what he should have done. Big money should have come together. All these Gilded Age dudes with all this money, Astors and all these
all the ones that died on the Titanic.
Well, not all of them, but their descendants. Let's not even get started there. But I hate what he did. He lifted this country up out of a real problem.
He gave us a path to lift up out of a problem.
And now look at us.
It was the American people who lifted us up out of that problem. People give these folks too much credit. They just signed a fucking piece of paper and they call it theirs. There was 30 people behind him who wrote that, put that shit together, and then set it in front of them. So, you sign that? Then they sign it.
Could have said no.
Sure. I don't know, man. I think we need another great revitalization. We need to bring the manufacturing back to America if we're truly going to be a superpower, if we're truly going to be independent of all these other nations. We are way too dependent on the Chinas and the Taiwans and the Philippines and India for all of the stuff that we need, including medications, man. that's a really scary one, especially the life-saving ones. How do we not have that industry here? It's because it was cheaper to do it elsewhere. And man, if there's one thing Americans love, it's cheap shit, right? Love the cheap shit. There's a fucking dollar store everywhere. You know what ain't going out of business? Motherfucking dollar store.
I don't, when it comes to dollar stores, I don't hate the game. I hate the player. I'm like, it's you. You live in like a podunk town. Like what you need is like a quality like grocery store or just a place to get like common essentials. What you don't need in a town of 5,000 people is a Dollar General. Like,
Dollar one. Well, you got the Dollar General on one corner,
talking
and
to
then
you,
the other one
Germantown.
on the other side. You got to have two of them, right?
Yeah, and they're across the street from one another. They literally eat themselves. They're like tiger sharks. There's two of them in the womb, but only one survives. That's how they do, man. Same with drugstores.
Count Trumpula, you're not wrong. Oh yeah, the drugstores.
CVS, Walgreens, and the other one, Rite Aid, are all across the street, and what is strongest to survive.
It was. There was literally in Hudson, New York, we have a CVS on one corner, a Walgreens directly across the street from it, and we have
Rite Aid, or what
it was Rite Aid on the other corner.
Rite Aid passed out, couldn't handle the pressure.
No, actually, I think Rite Aid still stands. I think Walgreens was the one that buckled in Hudson, New York. CVS and Rite Aid still stand to this day. So the two killed the one. And now it looks like Rite Aid ain't really going to hold up to CVS because, during that old pandemic thing we talked about earlier, CVS got like the golden ticket from Donald J. Trump as the pandemic hit to vaccinate and make sure that everybody was okay, right?
Now, I did this once, and I can't even remember what it even means, but CVS stands for something. I think it's like, I'm pretty sure it means Consumer Value Store.
Yeah.
When you go to CVS, they kind of got all kinds of stuff, man. They even got food in there.
Yeah.
Sort of. You're not going grocery shopping, you got fresh beef in there. But, but it's CVS, and not to mention the receipts.
Yeah. You could
save
totally build your Mr. America freaking sash out of a CVS receipt.
We're worried about Canadian tariffs on paper. It's like, well, then stop shopping at CVS. I went to CVS once. I bought like 3 things, and the receipt could go around the earth 3 times. Like,
yeah.
I don't even know what is the point of this. There's like, we got paper to burn, dude. Clearly a Canadian paper clearinghouse.
Is that stuff even made out of paper? That stuff that they print on? I don't even know, man.
It doesn't burn right. That's for sure.
No, it just like crumples up.
Tastes like shit too.
Up. Rob B says CVS receipts for fire starters. Savage Lee says I have to go 60 miles to a CVS. Damn.
I have to. Well, it's a 10-minute one way or 20-minute the other way.
Yeah. Johnny 308 says it stood for the Consumer Vaccination Store during the pandemic. Yeah.
Betty Lou says that Walgreens and Hudson bought out Rite Aid, moved into it, and then the old Walgreens is now a Dollar Tree.
Dollar Tree wins again.
Make America great again. Where's all that shit made?
Not in America.
What I love about the whole like tariffs and like arguing against like we need to get ourselves off of China. Look around you in your house right now, and I guarantee you that unless stated otherwise, everything in your house was made in China.
Yep. Yeah, it's rough.
Including the camera we're talking to.
Gen X Gemini says CVS everywhere here. Walgreens went bye-bye. Now I got to backtrack because I do remember Walgreens also getting the golden ticket during the pandemic.
Oh yeah. A vaccine outlet.
Yeah,
stores.
I don't think Rite Aid got the nod. So that might have been what really did them in was the lack of getting the hey buddy
shot.
They didn't
factory
get it.
outlet. You guys remember those commercials?
Oh, good Lord.
Remember when life was good, man? Hold on to that, because
made in China from 100% authentic uranium-rich Chinesium.
Yeah.
It's the good stuff. It's the good stuff. You know it, Count Trumpula.
And like 15 years later, the FDA is like, well, come to find out there was cobalt in the toothpaste. You're like, why'd you put cobalt in the toothpaste? And they're like, well, what's it supposed to do with it?
Got to put it somewhere, right?
Because being so reliant on someone we're supposed to believe is our, some sort of mortal enemy, it's a big deal, right? China is the main rival out here. 2025, China is a big player. Yeah. But we should also, ingest and import and utterly consume everything our main bad enemy produces. Give it to me, bro.
I don't know, man. I really love the food.
You ever buy a string of Christmas lights? Touching food. These Christmas lights exposes you to lead and cadmium and everything. What the?
But it's UL listed, bro. Safety first.
The underwriters even working for at this point. Who are they? Has anybody ever underwriters laboratory ever said, okay, cool.
Listen,
who is that?
Ghost Lincoln brought up the sweet smell of Chinesium. Now, something I want to say is...
You know the smell. When you open that new flat screen, you're like...
If you buy yourself a hot tent stove or something similar where you have to heat... It has to heat up, right?
We have a video of us burning the China off.
Do it outside.
Global warming.
Do it away from everybody. Light it and back the fuck away and let it burn, because the smell that's going to come off of that thing, I don't know what it is, but it is not good. I mean, it burns your eyes, your nose, your throat, your everything. It is not typical smoke that comes off of that. I don't know if it's oiled or what the hell it is. And now, again, it was stainless steel. But holy shit, man. If you did that in your tent, you would not be staying in that tent. So definitely something to ponder. And the hotter it gets, the worse it fucking smells. So make sure you burn in your cheap Chinesium shit outside of wherever it is you're going to be staying, because that is absolutely terrible.
The factory manufacturing conditions in China don't hold like, you think OSHA is like annoying or nerdy or whatever. In China, they don't have any of that. It's like, some of you will die, and that is a risk we are absolutely willing to take, produce product. As Americans, we're mad privileged because if you ever sit back and think about the average Chinese laborer that does this stuff,
Johnny Preps.
They go home, they go to the factory, they stamp out, they make $5.
Oh, yeah.
To produce $50,000 worth of product, and they go home to their closet and they live there and they show back up.
Yep.
There's human cattle. So I suppose that that in mind.
It's the iPhone factory, Chance Paladin.
When you want to bring American manufacturing home,
yeah,
be on guard against the capitalist interests, because they will treat you as such. Now, I know in right-wing circles, unions are not a good thing. We don't like that. How dare these working people do the thing? But if you don't do that, you will simply be a mouse in a Chinese factory. You live in your closet, you own nothing, and you will be happy. Oh, my soul to the company store.
Do, 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 do. See, even the bell didn't want to work on that one.
So keep your ear to the ground and keep a watchful eye when we bring American manufacturing home. I have Purdy paintbrushes made in America by Americans, and they sign them.
Yeah, that's why you pay a premium for them.
You know what I ain't never seen? Anything like an American name on one. I ain't never found a Purdy brush, and I ain't disrespecting because I use them and I buy them because they're good. But made in America by Americans. But what I see is this brush was made by
Raoul
Fang and Raoul, and it's never Frank or Joe.
Another day older and deeper in debt. Sorry.
What
Paul
I'm
Conroy got me going.
what I am warning you guys of is that the push to bring American manufacturing home and to make America great again relies on a strong working class that's motivated to do it.
Yeah.
But the upper class is not motivated to motivate you to do it, except by coercion. Work or starve. Now, that sounds communist and bad, right? No, Elon and Jeff Bezos and any fucking employer
The Waltons.
They will do that to you. They will. No employer is going to give you anything the law doesn't say they have to, and no employer is going to give you any more than you demand.
That's right. That's right. It's so important to know your worth and always shoot for the moon, man. Worst case scenario, they're going to tell you no, right?
They can tell everybody no until they have to say yes. That's what you have to be. Solidarity, it's called. Americans got to get off their high horse, bro.
We got
Check your privilege. Who the
bro.
fuck do you think you are? Because you think that like Elon Musk is a person that you are somehow in his league, that he gives a shit about you. I'm not pointing fingers here. I'm just saying in general. There is a extreme class discrepancy in America today. And you'd have to be stupid or blind to not understand that that exists.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So many people
and
are
if you
polarized
are not,
by the politics.
If you are not here, let me see if I can get my fucking hand off the screen because it's really how it works.
It's gone.
If you're not way up there where you can't even see no more, then you're down here with the literal fucking rest of us. And that these guys up here, they need you to think they're your friend, but I promise you they're not. Keep that in mind. All I'm asking you to do.
Yeah. Appreciate y'all being here tonight. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on this Too Soon to Tell Tuesday. And we did learn tonight that if you're planning on hunkering in, that loneliness can definitely be part of the problem.
You need some enrichment in your enclosure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Get yourself some little cat toys and a little feather thing you can bat from time
Gotta
to
have
time.
them. I think the moral of the story is don't close yourself in. You have to get out. You have to be social. We're social creatures, humans. You don't have to be, up everybody's tuchus every day, but it's good to have some friends. It's good to get out. It's good to talk to people. Get outside, man. It's good for you. It's good for you. There it is.
And if you are just showing up, or perhaps like we, of course, went a little bit left field of the topic, but the link that Mike dropped a couple of times in the chat brought us back to the original point here, which was that
one more time.
Americans are becoming homebodies. We're not leaving the house, and we're not socializing. We're not getting out. We're not like shaking hands and kissing babies and doing the thing. Is it on purpose? Is it us? Is it them? Is it us? Is it them? Is it both? Probably all of those, really.
All together now. Well, if you guys aren't busy in about half an hour, I know the Angry Prepper is going live, and it's RNN time tonight, baby. Appreciate you being here. Thank you for watching. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Consider sharing this out. That's the only way we grow anymore is if you guys do the sharing, because if you wandered in here and you didn't get a notification, well, that's why we're taking hits, because they're just not sending them out. So send it on out. Hopefully it reaches somebody.
Buck up. Tell your friends and family what you've been like into anymore. Like, wouldn't you want them to know this glorious information we share with you?
Keep your finger on the pulse, folks. Hudson Valley Prepping Survival. We out of here.